Have you ever heard of the Day of Judgement?
Is it when they come back to life? All of Allah's creations and living things will be resurrected so that their deeds will be weighed.
I think based on our knowledge, it's like everyone will be like literally judged. Like
by a judge.
But
I know about Yawm Al-Qiyamah is that it will surely happen. It is the last phase of existence, and what we are doing now on this earth is merely mata'ul ghurur.
And then get decided, like, I don't know, after they die, they come back to life.
So yeah, if their good deeds overweigh their bad, they will go to heaven, and if their bad deeds overweigh their good, then they will go to hell.
I think I'm not sure like how.
Yeah, we don't
Like, we just know that
how.
they'll be judged, but we don't know exactly how will they be judged.
And we will be awakened once more to the Day of Judgment.
Do you know what will happen on the Day of Judgment?
On the Day of Judgment, yes, I know basically people will be called for judgment, they will rise from their respective, what do you call, a grave.
Isn't it when our deeds will be counted, right? Rather, our good deeds and our bad deeds.
The creations of Allah will be rewarded with their beliefs and their good deeds, and of course they will be punished by Allah if they did bad things.
But exactly what will happen, as in the surroundings or destructions, those kinds of details, I don't really know what will happen.
Right now, the reality is that our life is only a short or temporary life. So for me, the Day of Judgment is that when it starts at the beginning and it will never end.
Okay, have you ever heard about the Day of Judgment in the Quran?
Yes, in few surah, but I can remember only in Surah Al-Zumar, but cannot remember fully what is it all about.
Is it like Surah Al-Qariah? Maybe like وَيَكُونُ النَّاسُ كَالْفَرَاشِ الْمَبْثُوثِ or something.
Yes, I've encountered surahs that talk about Day of Judgment, but right now I cannot recall any.
Allah has also stated some big signs and small signs of Qiyamah, which is very precise in the sense, but I'm not too sure where exactly it is.
Like sometimes our mothers say like you will if you don't wear tudung, then during the Day of Judgment you get this and that. So my knowledge is very based on word of mouth rather than the precise studies of the tafsir and Quran.
It is possible for us to know about the Day of Judgment and to believe that it is going to happen sooner or later. However, how many of us do know that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has clearly stated about it in various pages and various surahs in the Holy Quran. How many of us do bother to find out and read about it in detail? Hence, we present to you Surah Al-Qariah, which will provide you with information on Yawm Al-Qiyamah, what will happen on that day, and how do you determine your masir in the hereafter.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم القارعة ما القارعة وما أدراك ما القارعة يوم يكون الناس كالفراش المبثوث وتكون الجبال كالعهن المنفوش فأما من ثقلت موازينه فهو في عيشة راضية وأما من خفت موازينه فأمه هاوية وما أدراك ما هي نار حامية.
The literal translation of Al-Qari'ah is the rattler or the destroyer. The word Qari'ah, which is derived from the word Qara'ah, is used to describe two things hitting each other which creates a loud noise. Not just any loud noise, but a disturbing noise. He repeated the word 3 times to let you know how heavy the calamity is by using the word ta'zim to make it grand and tafkhim to make it heavier and scarier. The traditional interpretation of the word Qari'ah varies according to scholars such as Shawkani, Alusi and so on. It can either mean to strike with great strength or to strike with great result. It is called Al-Qari'ah because on that day, hearts will be rattled out of fear as well as the hearts of the enemies of Allah due to being punished. Al-Qari'ah is among the names to describe Judgment Day, and there are also other names such as Al-Haqah, the inevitable reality, As-Sakhah, the deafening blast, At-Tammatul Kubra, the greatest overwhelming calamity, Al-Ghashiyah, the overwhelming, and Yawmul Ba'ath, the day of resurrection.
Al-Farash, which are moths, are said to be mabthuth, which is dispersed and spread out. This image of Al-Farash al-Mabthuth is given to people for them to be compared to the moths, as when they fly, they don't move in the same direction. Just like how people come out from their graves, they will be overwhelmed by terror. Mabthuth also means division or distinction. It means that people will be separated from one another. Even though they are together, they are separated. This is the day when you'll feel the loneliest, separated from everybody, as it has been mentioned in Surah Abasa. يَوْمَ يَفِرُّ الْمَرْءُ مِنْ أَخِيهِ وَأُمِّهِ وَأَبِيهِ وَصَاحِبَتِهِ وَبَنِيهِ. Meaning, on the day, a man will flee from his brother and his mother and his father and his wife and his children. Therefore, Allah described the chaotic condition of human on that day, that they will be scattering, their coming and their going, all due to being bewildered at what is happening to them, just like scattered moths. They will move about, stumbling to one another. Al-Ihn means wools of different textures, and Manfush min Nafasha means cut and scrape wool into fine lines. Now look at a mountain and contemplate. Imagine that they will all turn into wool that will be blown easily by any soft breeze. They will become nothing. Mountains turn from sturdy to weightless. And that is exactly how Allah has described what will happen on the striking hour when human will be running around in panic and things turn chaotic.
But then again, right, how do we calculate our good deeds and our bad deeds?
Okay, I'm just wondering, like how you classify people that will enter Jannah or
webinar.
Yeah. So how you classify that kind? I mean, like from what their deeds or.
So maybe can you tell me like how these people, as in who decides? Okay lah, Allah decides. But how do we know who gets to go to heaven and hell?
After being judged, right? Then what will happen to them?
Just judge. I don't know. I'm not sure. I think after judge, then heaven or hell. Yeah.
But how do I know if I belong in the group that will be going to the heaven or I belong to the group that will be going to the hell?
It's been said that all the non-believers will go to hell, right? But what about those non-believers who do good deeds their whole life? So if they go to hell, it seems a bit unfair. So how does this thing work?
So you also don't know what happened to them?
Yeah, I'm not sure actually. I'm not.
So what happened to them?
I'm not brave enough to answer this kind of question.
Many of us must have asked this question as well. What will happen to us after Yawm al-Qiyamah? How will we be judged? On what will we be judged upon? Allah has stated in Surah Al-Qariah, فَأَمَّا مَنْ ثَقُلَتْ مَوَازِينُهُ, which means, then as for those whose scales became heavy. Heavy with what? Of course with good deeds, such as helping others, sadaqah, or simply just smile towards one another. So, what if his deeds becomes heavy? Allah then explained in the next ayah, فَهُوَ فِي عِيشَةٍ رَاضِيَةٍ, he will be in Aisha Radiyah. Aisha means a life which you will have no worry for food or shelter. Then there's Radiyah, which means the one who is pleased. And when you add it together, it means a life full of pleasure. You don't describe here the person, but instead the overjoyed life that is full of contentment. This is to understand that the entire life, not a moment where the joy won't be there. There won't be any boredom or any dissatisfaction, and that will be in Al-Jannah, which Allah has described in the Quran as
مثل الجنة التي وعد المتقون فيها أنهار من ماء غير آسن وأنهار من لبن لم يتغير طعمه وأنهار من خمر لذة للشاربين وأنهار من عسل مصفى ولهم فيها من كل الثمرات ومغفرة من ربهم كمن هو خالد في النار وسقوا ماء حميما فقطع أمعاءهم,
which means is the description of paradise which the righteous are promised, where are rivers of water unaltered, rivers of milk, the taste of which never changes, rivers of wine, delicious to those who drink, and rivers of purified honey, in which they will have from all kinds of fruits and forgiveness from their Lord, like that of those who abide eternally in the fire, and are given to drink scalding water that will sever their intestines. In another surah, Allah also has described Jannah as
إن الله يدخل الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات جنات تجري من تحتها الأنهار يحلون فيها من أساور من ذهب ولؤلؤا ولباسهم فيها حرير.
Which means, indeed, Allah will admit those who believe and do righteous deeds to gardens beneath which rivers flow. They will be adorned there with bracelets of gold and pearl, and their garments there will be silk.
So, the next ayah, وَأَمَّا مَنْ خَفَّتْ مَوَازِينُهُ. So, the word takhfif here means to enlighten or to be light. Hence, the ayah says, and to those whose balance of good deeds are found light, بِأَنْ رَجَّحَتْ سَيِّئَاتُهُ عَلَى حَسَنَاتِهِ, or there are even no good deeds to be counted. Then comes the next ayah, فَأُمُّهُ هَاوِيَةٌ. So what happens to those whose good deeds are lighter than their bad deeds? Now, why is there a separation and a stop between these two ayahs? It is actually to ensure that people stop, ponder and reflect to the ayah and the meanings behind it. لِيَدَّبَّرُوا آيَاتِهِ أَفَلَا تَتَفَكَّرُونَ. Next, فَأُمُّهُ هَاوِيَةٌ means he will have his home in a bottomless pit. So, Hawiyah actually comes from the word Hawa, which means to fall into a steep canyon. Hence, this word is usually associated with birds like hawks or eagles who fly way downwards to pounce on their prey with much force. So, the usage of the word Hawiyah depicts how a person will fall way downwards, aimlessly into that deep canyon which is the hellfire. There is also a saying among the Arabs which shows the usage of these words, Huwat Ummu, which is usually conveyed to those who are facing calamities or are in a difficult situation, and it means you are looking like your mom fell off a cliff. So now, why did Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala use the word Ummu or mother? First, is because a child runs to its mother naturally without being asked to. That is how a person will run into the hellfire naturally without being able to rebel his body. Also, a mother always protects her child, wraps him around her, not leaving him alone. That describes how the hellfire will not leave that person and continue to wrap itself around him. وَمَا أَدْرَاكَ مَا هِيَ. And what can you make know what it is? So now, let's see, why did Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala say here, وَمَا أَدْرَاكَ مَا هِيَ, not وَمَا أَدْرَاكَ مَا الْهَاوِيَةُ, unlike what he said in وَمَا أَدْرَاكَ مَا الْقَارِعَةُ. So, actually, the usage of a pronoun or dhamir is to indicate things which are not familiar to people, or in this instance, to the Arabs, as Hawiyah is something from the ghaib, not what is on the earth. As we can see, after dhamir here, there is an additional ha. هذا الها يفيد التهويل, which means to terrify and further intensify the weightage of the fire among the audience. So what is the answer to this question? Because here you can see that the word وَمَا أَدْرَاكَ is used, which means there would be an answer to the question, unlike using وَمَا يُدْرِيكَ, which does not promise you an answer. So the answer is هي نار حامية. Narun is fire. Hamia means intense fire. أي بلغت إلى نهاية درجة الحرارة.